The war did not begin with fire. It began with silence. Entire star systems stopped sending signals overnight. Trade routes went dark. Defense fleets vanished without a final call for help. At first, the galaxy believed it was a technical failure. Then the truth became impossible to ignore. Something was destroying everything in its path. The enemy did not speak. It did not negotiate. It did not conquer planets to rule them. It erased them. One by one, worlds that had existed for millions of years became empty shadows drifting through space. Civilizations with long histories ended in a single night. Every major species tried to fight back. They sent fleets filled with their best weapons and bravest soldiers. None returned. Space battles were over before they even began. Energy shields failed. Weapons misfired. Command ships lost control. The enemy moved faster than thought and hit harder than fear itself. Galactic councils held emergency meetings every hour. Leaders argued, blamed each other, and promised hope they did not have. Military commanders ran simulations again and again. Every result ended the same way: total defeat. Fear spread faster than the war. Refugee ships crowded safe systems. Space stations overflowed with people who had lost everything. Children asked questions no one could answer. Soldiers stared at star maps, knowing each red mark meant another world was gone. Humanity watched from the edge of known space. Humans were not the strongest species. They were not the oldest. Their fleets were smaller, their territory limited. Many in the galaxy believed humans would be next. Some even felt sorry for them. But Earth was quiet. No emergency broadcasts. No calls for help. No speeches. Deep inside a hidden command facility, human leaders studied the war in silence. Screens showed destroyed worlds and failed defenses. Analysts spoke in low voices. Generals did not argue. They listened. The enemy crossed another border. A system close to human space fell within hours. Still, Earth did not move. Some allies begged humans to act. Messages arrived filled with fear and anger. Send your fleets. Share your weapons. Help us. There was no reply. Then, one night, every long-range scanner in the galaxy detected something new. A single signal. It did not come from a fleet. It did not come from a known base. It came from deep within human-controlled space. The signal carried a ship identification code. USS Blackstar. The name meant nothing to most species. Even human allies had never heard it before. No records existed in shared databases. No public fleet lists mentioned it. One ship could not change a war this large. Many commanders laughed at the idea. Others felt uneasy but said nothing. The USS Blackstar left human space without escort. No fighters followed it. No support ships traveled beside it. It moved alone, silent and steady, toward the heart of the war zone. As it crossed into contested space, enemy scouts detected it. Weapons locked on. Battle formations formed instantly. The Blackstar did not change course. No shields flared. No warning shots were fired. Observers from every species watched through long-range feeds. Some expected the ship to explode in seconds. Others turned away, unable to watch another loss. Inside the USS Blackstar, there was no panic. Systems were stable. Crew voices were calm. Orders were short and clear. The ship continued forward. For the first time since the war began, the galaxy felt something new. Not hope. Not relief. But a quiet, growing fear that the war everyone was losing was about to become something far worse, for the enemy. The enemy fleet reacted instantly. Hundreds of warships shifted position, forming attack lines around the USS Blackstar. Space filled with weapons fire, bright beams, fast missiles, and waves of energy meant to crush anything caught between them. The Blackstar did not slow down. Scanners across the galaxy struggled to read it. Its energy signature was strange, calm, almost empty. It did not behave like a normal warship. There were no shield spikes, no weapon charging signs, no panic responses. Enemy commanders grew angry. They ordered a full attack. The first volley struck the Blackstar's hull. Nothing happened. No explosion. No damage. The energy disappeared as if swallowed by the ship itself. Some weapons passed through space where the Blackstar should have been, missing it by impossible margins, even though the ship never moved. Confusion spread through the enemy fleet. They fired again, stronger this time. Heavier weapons. Rare technology saved for last battles. Still nothing. The USS Blackstar continued forward, silent and untouched. Galactic observers leaned closer to their screens. Military experts whispered in disbelief. This was not advanced shielding. This was something unknown. Then the Blackstar responded. There was no loud blast. No bright flash that filled the screen. One moment, the enemy fleet existed. The next, a section of space simply went empty. Dozens of enemy ships were gone. Not destroyed. Not drifting wreckage. Gone. The space they occupied looked clean, untouched, as if nothing had ever been there. Enemy commanders froze. Some shouted orders. Others stared, unable to understand what they had just seen. Sensors showed no explosion residue, no heat, no debris. It was as if reality itself had been cut away. The Blackstar fired again. Another fleet section vanished. Panic took control. Enemy ships broke formation. Some tried to retreat. Others fired wildly, hoping something, anything, would work. Their communication channels filled with fear and broken commands. The USS Blackstar did not chase yet. It moved forward slowly, like a hunter that knew its prey had nowhere to go. Human allies watching from afar felt cold fear in their chests, not toward the enemy, but toward the power they were witnessing. If this was one ship, what else did humanity have hidden? Inside the Blackstar, the crew followed procedures as if this were a routine mission. Displays showed clean results. No emotional reactions. No celebration. The ship reached the center of the enemy formation. Then it stopped. For the first time, the Blackstar sent a broadcast. It was short. Simple. Clear. This war ends now. The message echoed across every open channel. The enemy tried to jam it. They failed. The signal cut through everything. Some enemy commanders begged for time. Others ordered a full retreat. The Blackstar answered with action. A wide pulse spread outward from the ship, silent and invisible. As it passed through enemy vessels, they vanished one after another, erased in perfect order. Within minutes, the largest enemy fleet ever assembled no longer existed. The battlefield fell silent. Galactic observers did not cheer. No one spoke. They understood something important had changed forever. This was not a battle. This was a demonstration. And the galaxy was only beginning to understand the ship no one had ever been meant to see. The silence after the battle felt heavier than the fighting itself. Where thousands of enemy warships had once filled space, there was now only darkness and scattered stars. No wreckage drifted. No emergency signals cried for help. It was as if the battlefield had never existed. Across the galaxy, commanders stared at their screens in shock. Some refused to believe what they had seen. Others replayed the footage again and again, hoping to find a mistake. There was none. The enemy, for the first time since the war began, felt fear. High command centers lit up with urgent messages. Retreat orders spread through every remaining fleet. Enemy forces pulled back from occupied systems, abandoning conquered worlds without a fight. Warp drives activated in panic. Fleets scattered in all directions, desperate to escape whatever the USS Blackstar truly was. The Blackstar did not chase immediately. It drifted forward slowly, almost calmly, as if allowing the enemy to make their choice. To fight meant erasure. To run meant survival, at least for a little longer. But running did not save them. The moment an enemy fleet jumped to hyperspace, the Blackstar followed. It did not use known travel methods. It appeared at the edge of enemy systems without warning, already waiting when they arrived. One by one, enemy strongholds vanished. A fortress world defended for centuries disappeared in seconds. A shipyard the size of a moon went silent forever. Communication relays failed across entire regions of space, leaving systems blind and alone. Panic became chaos. Enemy leaders argued openly. Some blamed their own scientists for failing to understand human technology. Others accused each other of awakening humanity too early. Old alliances shattered as species tried to save themselves, even if it meant betraying former allies. None of it mattered. The USS Blackstar moved with perfect purpose. Human allies tried to contact the ship. They wanted answers. They wanted control. They wanted reassurance that this power would not turn on them next. The Blackstar did not reply. From hidden observation posts, humans watched their own creation reshape the galaxy. Some felt pride. Others felt unease. A few wondered if even humanity truly understood what they had unleashed. Inside the Blackstar, the crew followed orders written long before the war began. Their mission was not revenge. It was not conquest. It was removal. Any force capable of threatening humanity's future would not be allowed to exist. Enemy scientists tried one last plan. They gathered their remaining fleets near their home worlds, believing that numbers might finally matter. Millions of ships formed a wall of metal and weapons, the largest force the galaxy had ever seen. The USS Blackstar approached alone. For a moment, the enemy believed they had a chance. Then the Blackstar changed the rules. Space bent around it. Stars behind it dimmed. Sensors failed completely. Reality itself seemed to grow unstable near the ship. A single command was executed. The enemy's final fleet vanished in a wave that did not explode, burn, or destroy. It erased. Ships, weapons, crews, and command centers were removed from existence with perfect precision. The enemy home worlds went quiet soon after. No invasion followed. No occupation forces arrived. There was nothing left to occupy. Across the galaxy, silence returned, not the silence of peace, but the silence of understanding. The war was ending. Not because the enemy surrendered, but because fear had finally learned there was nowhere left to run. When the fighting stopped, the galaxy did not celebrate. There were no victory parades, no songs of triumph. Space felt empty, like a room after a storm where everything familiar had been swept away. The war was over, but its ending did not feel like peace. Entire regions were silent. Star maps were rewritten. Systems once marked as enemy territory were now marked with a single word, gone. Galactic councils met again, this time in fear rather than desperation. The enemy no longer existed, yet no one felt safe. The question that echoed through every chamber was the same. What were humans? Old records were opened. Archives long ignored were searched. Ancient data recovered from destroyed civilizations was examined with new eyes. What they found chilled even the bravest minds. Humanity had been noticed before. Long ago, when humans first reached space, ancient watchers had observed them. Those watchers had left warnings behind, simple messages, carved into forgotten data vaults and dying satellites. Do not corner them. Do not force them. They endure longer than you expect. These warnings had been ignored or misunderstood. Humans had seemed too young, too divided, too fragile to matter. But humans learned quickly. They studied every war the galaxy had ever fought. Every mistake. Every weakness. While others chased power, humans prepared for survival. While others built fleets, humans built answers. The USS Blackstar was one of those answers. It was never meant to lead fleets or fly proudly in parades. It was built to end threats, not fight wars. It carried weapons that did not destroy matter but removed it. Technology designed not to scare enemies, but to make resistance pointless. The galaxy realized something terrifying. The Blackstar was not humanity's strongest ship. It was their final option. Human leaders finally spoke, not to boast, but to explain. Their message was calm and clear. Humanity did not seek control of the galaxy. They did not want tribute or territory. They wanted one thing only. To be left alone. The war had crossed that line. The enemy had pushed humanity into a corner, threatening their future. And when that happened, humans did what they had always done on their home world. They ended the threat completely. Some species felt anger. Others felt relief. Many felt shame. They had watched the war destroy others while hoping humanity would be next, not realizing what that would mean. The USS Blackstar continued its patrol for a time, visiting the edges of former enemy space. It did not attack. It did not threaten. It simply existed. And that was enough. Pirate fleets disbanded overnight. Aggressive empires slowed their expansion. Borders were redrawn carefully, respectfully. New laws were written, not enforced by fleets, but by fear of awakening humanity again. Slowly, life returned to the galaxy. Trade routes reopened. Refugees found new homes. Children were born who would never hear the sound of war. Yet the Blackstar remained in memory. A symbol not of human strength, but of human restraint. The galaxy learned its final lesson too late but remembered it forever. Humans do not rush to war. Humans do not seek domination. But when forced to choose between survival and mercy, they choose survival, without hesitation. And the truth the galaxy buried deep was this. They were not afraid of the USS Blackstar. They were afraid of what humanity would build next if ever pushed again. The galaxy did not return to normal. It returned to something new. Star maps were redrawn with care. Old borders no longer mattered as much as distance from human space. Trade routes bent away from Earth's territory, not because humans demanded it, but because no one wanted to drift too close by accident. Silence around human systems became a kind of respect. The USS Blackstar was no longer seen, but it was never forgotten. Stories spread across worlds that had never met a human. Some said the ship still moved between stars, watching. Others believed it had returned to a hidden place beyond known space, waiting. No one knew the truth, and no one wanted to find out. Humanity did not expand after the war. They did not claim enemy worlds. They did not place governors or fleets in conquered systems. They simply closed their borders and rebuilt in quiet. That decision changed everything. Without an enemy to fight, the galaxy faced itself. Old rivalries felt small. Long-standing grudges lost meaning. No one wanted to be the next reason humanity would act again. Galactic councils created new rules, this time carefully written. Wars of expansion were outlawed. Planetary erasure was declared the highest crime imaginable. These laws were not enforced by armies, but by memory. Every leader remembered the empty battlefields. Every soldier remembered the fleets that vanished. Fear became a form of peace. Children grew up hearing stories of the war not as tales of heroism, but as warnings. Teachers spoke of the moment the USS Blackstar entered the conflict, not to praise humans, but to explain consequences. Power does not always announce itself, they said. Sometimes it waits. Far beyond council halls and history lessons, the truth remained simple. Humanity continued to observe. Deep within human space, projects were shut down, locked away, and marked with final clearance codes. The Blackstar's mission was complete. It was no longer needed. Or so everyone hoped. Human leaders met one last time to review the war. There was no celebration in the room. Only understanding. They knew what they had done could never be undone. The galaxy would remember humanity not for culture or art, but for erasure. That was the price of survival. The USS Blackstar was placed into deep standby, hidden where no scanner could reach. Its crew returned home quietly, blending back into normal life. No medals. No headlines. Just silence. Years passed. The galaxy remained peaceful, not because trust had grown, but because memory remained sharp. No one crossed human borders. No one tested old weapons. No one laughed at human warnings. Because everyone remembered the moment the war ended. The moment a single ship joined a losing fight and erased a galaxy's greatest threat without asking for permission. The war was gone. The enemy was gone. But the lesson stayed. And somewhere in the dark between stars, whether active or asleep, the USS Blackstar remained a reminder of a truth the galaxy would never forget. Some species fight to win. Some fight to conquer. Humans fight only when there is no other choice. And when they do, nothing survives their wrath.